In just 5 minutes, I'm going to build an agentic AI workflow within Microsoft Copilot Studio that's not only going to write my post-meeting file notes, but it's also going to connect to the next step in this workflow by creating and sending a post-meeting summary email to the client. I think this is a really great example as to how when building internally when it comes to AI and automation, you're able to more deeply integrate this with the rest of your processes and the tools that you use, such as your CRM, SharePoint, and like I'm going to show you in this video, Microsoft Outlook. I've chosen to show a really simple and easy example, so if you want to follow along and build this for yourself within your own Microsoft environment, feel free to do so. All of the resources and instructions that I use to build this, you can get for free through the link in the description. So the first place you need to go to is Copilot Studio. You can get there through going to this link here, copilotstudio.microsoft.com. And once you're on this page here, click on the Agents section, and you're going to click the Create a Blank Agent. It's going to take a second to load. And once this does load, the first thing you're probably going to notice, especially if you've never built within Copilot Studio, is that this is maybe a little bit overwhelming. If you've ever built an agent within regular Copilot chat, like I did in my previous video, there's a bunch of additional features within the Copilot Studio agent builder compared to this regular Copilot chat, such as adding a trigger, adding tools, adding agents. There's probably too much to go through in just one video. So the only thing we're going to focus on in this video, the new feature wise, is adding a tool. This is how we're going to connect Microsoft Outlook to our agent. But the first thing we need to do is actually build the agent. So we're going to start with editing the name and the description. So I've kept the name and the description really simple. The next section that you want to go to is the instructions section. This is like the employee handbook, or how we actually want the agent to behave, to put it more simply. So I've actually already prepared the instructions. You can get this in the resources that's available within the description. I'm just going to copy and paste this over into the instructions section, and I'll walk you through what I'm actually telling the agent to do. Given that this is a multi-step workflow, I've broken the instructions down into 3 different steps. Step 1 is creating the actual file note, and once the accurate and compliant file note is generated, the next step in this workflow is to confirm with the user whether they're ready to move on to the next step. And the final step in this workflow is identifying the client email, generating a meeting summary, and putting all of those inputs together to then send an email to the client. You're going to see this in action in a second. The last thing we need to do is add the actual knowledge base. What I've uploaded into the knowledge base are the 3 different types of templates that I need my agent to use, depending on what type of meeting it was with the client. So I've got an annual review, discovery meeting, and plan presentation template. So the agent is going to use the transcription, identify what type of meeting it was with the client, and then use the transcription with the relevant template that's within the knowledge base. Whilst these documents are loading into the knowledge base, we can move on to the adding a tool section, which if you've never built in Copilot Studio, this is going to be completely new for you. So this is how we're going to connect Microsoft Outlook to our agent. So we're just going to press this button here, Office 365 Outlook. We have a bunch of different options of things that we can do here using this Outlook connector. So we can draft an email, delete an email, send an email. What I'm actually going to do instead of sending an email is draft an email message, because I think most people watching would probably prefer that an email is drafted opposed to sending it without prior approval. So this is probably more relevant to most people watching. So I'm just going to press the add and configure section. So once this loads, you're going to see this page here. The only part of this tools page that you really need to worry about is the input section. This is where we're able to make adjustments to what we want the actual email to look like. This is broken up into the 3 different components of an email, being who's the email being sent to, the subject email, and the body content of the email. The main part of this section is that we're able to either dynamically fill these inputs with AI or add a custom value here, which is sort of making it the same for every single one of these emails. For instance, to make it simple, for every single email, I can just have the subject as meeting follow-up. Whereas when it comes to the body content of the email, this is going to be need to be different for every single one of these meeting summaries, given that every single meeting is going to be different. So if I press the customize button, I can add a prompt here in the description section that's going to prompt the tool as to how to dynamically fill this section with AI. So I'm going to copy and paste over this prompt from the resources, essentially telling the tool to write a neat, concise email summary to be sent to the client. Email should contain a brief, friendly introduction followed by 3 headers: meeting summary, key points, and next steps. I've also told it to write it in HTML format, which is going to structure this email really nicely. I also want the to section to be sent as dynamically filled with AI, given that who the email is going to be sent to is going to be different for every single client meeting that we have. So I can just leave this prompt as is. That should do it fine, given the instructions that I've already given the user, the agent, back in the overview section. So now that we're back on the overview section, this is our last chance to just go through and make sure all of the instructions, the knowledge is as we wanted it, the knowledge base is loaded, our tools section to draft an email message is added here. Everything else looks good. So what we're going to do is to test the agent. So press this button in the top right corner here. And I'm just going to start this workflow by saying file note, and we're going to see if the agent understands what I mean by that. So we can see it thinking on the side over here. So it's just formulating a response. And as expected, it says, to proceed with creating the file note, I need two things, the meeting transcript and to identify what type of file note output I require. So whether this was an annual review meeting, a discovery meeting, or a planned presentation. So what I'm going to do is to upload a file here. I'm going to load my mock discovery meeting transcript and was just going to say discovery. I'm going to see what the agent thinks of that. So now that it's finished thinking, it started to generate the discovery meeting file note using the uploaded transcript, the instructions that we've added in the overview section, and the relevant discovery meeting template that we uploaded in the knowledge base. Let's give this a second. So now that this file note is outputted exactly as we asked it to within the instructions, it's now asking us if we would like to proceed from the file note step to the next step in this workflow of sending a meeting email summary to the client. So I'm just going to say send email, and we'll see what the agent responds with. So it's asking us to authorize the connection to Outlook. You'll only need to do this once. And it's told us that the meeting summary email has been saved to drafts. I'm going to drag over my emails and you can see this here. So it says client placeholder, ready to be sent to the client. So I'll just say john@gmail.com. And it's used the structure that we asked it to, a brief introduction followed by 3 headers, meeting summary, key points, and next steps. It's formatted it really nicely, and it's essentially just repurposed the file note into a client-friendly, client-facing email that can be sent directly to the client following the meeting. The last thing I want to show you is that if I go back to my agent, I can press publish. And once this is published, I can go to channels. I can click on Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilots. I can press Add Channel. So I'm going to press See Agent in Teams. Let's let this load. Add. Open. And here I could, again, write file note and trigger the workflow from here as well.